Welcome to Biz Asia America. It is Friday here in the U.S. and Saturday morning in Beijing. Coming up this hour, we will take an in-depth look at the U.S. employment picture with those big jobs numbers, which also comes at the 11th hour in America's presidential election. Our special guests include the U.S. Secretary of Labor and an economic advisor to the previous president, George W. Bush. For more on the jobs report, we welcome Kereakos Zuras. Thank you very much. He is the former economic advisor to George W. Bush, and now also a turnaround expert in the business. Let me start by this jobs report. I'm sure the Obama administration, in fact, we know that they've taken it and taken credit for a lot of it. And of course, the Romney administration has said most likely it's not good enough. What's your initial reaction?
I agree. I don't think it's a plus for the Obama administration. I think it's pretty much the same old news. I think it's kind of flat. I mean, we've been at almost 8% for 45 months, consecutive months, except for the last 2 months. And the reason that there was an increase to 7.9 this month was because there were 129,000 people that got laid off and 53,000 people that quit their jobs. So that kind of bumped it up a little bit. But overall, I don't think it's good news for Obama. I think it's the same old news. And
but okay, to be fair, I'm going to play devil's advocate
Sure.
here because every Republican or every conservative person is going to find something wrong with this report. Let's be honest about it. Does there come a point where good news can be good news? When can we finally say, hey, that's a good report, that's good news?
Well, when we're actually showing substantial growth. I mean, we put 117,000 jobs on the line, but we need about 250,000, and our economic growth is under 2%. It's been that way for a long time. This is the slowest recovery in economic recovery in U.S. history. So I'm not trying to be partisan here, but they're just bad numbers. And I mean, we've thrown a lot of money at this thing. It's just not working.
In Rochelle's report earlier, she talked about the African Americans here in the United States, how the unemployment rate is significantly higher. We've talked on the show about folks who are working part-time. They want to work full-time. We talk about folks who've just given up looking for jobs altogether, and we can include all of this in this sort of U6 number,
Right.
which is the technical term. What's your opinion of the U6?
I think it's a very comprehensive look of the entire unemployment picture, but the official number is the 7.9 number. But we need to take into effect everything that you said. Why people aren't working, the people that have left looking for work, and the people that have degrees that that should be making a lot of money that are working part-time jobs or several part-time jobs just to stay afloat. So this takes into account everything, and that's the actual unemployment rate that's affecting the country with 23 million people out of work today.
The 23 million people that you're talking about, many of them became out of work in 2008 when we went through the financial crisis, right? Housing blew up.
That's right.
Firms laid off thousands and tens of thousands of employees. And the American government and many experts out there said, we need to retrain a lot of these workers. Fast forward 4 years later. It's been 4 years. I mean, to some extent, it's been a lot of time, but it hasn't been a lot of time. Are we expecting too much?
I think there was a lot of promises made that everything was going to happen.
And my point is that doesn't it take time to retrain the workforce?
It does take time, but I think that we also aren't doing a few of the things that we should do to get people to start hiring, which is small business, which hires 7 out of 10 people. And we're not doing those things, and I think that's having an impact. And we're also throwing money at alternative energy sources that just aren't working out. So I think we need to focus more on our renewable energies here, become more independent, and do some other things that will stimulate businesses to start hiring.
Kereakos, I'm going to help you going into the weekend. We're going to take a break from politics, take a look